Might just say it did on my stream.
3, 2, 1. Good morning, everyone. And after what could be said 3 restarts, 2 tries, and a bunch of annoyance, I can finally sit down in this apartment and actually chat.
Mo. Oh.
What?
I said konnichiwa.
How's everyone doing this morning? How was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was basically short and just
Quiet.
Small, quiet, short. We are missing one skeptic this day. He is very busy, so he won't be joining us in the podcast. However, we do still have topics to talk about.
No, we don't.
nah.
Okay, so they don't, I do. So, at least I came prepared. I don't know about these guys.
Man, you just put your topic up like 5 minutes ago, but you just find it.
But man, I have my topic the next day after the podcast. I am always here. I have a reservoir of stuff to talk about.
I'm more of an extemporaneous, you know. I don't know about you. This is how I feel.
But anyway, who wants to actually start with the topic? Since I was the last person to put it up. So,
Alright. Why? Because I want to be able to put some fun. So please.
Yeah, just get yours out of the way, because ours is going to go to hand. Right next to it all. Alright, just
go ahead, Reddick.
I want you to start.
Oh, you want me to start?
Our topic's already in.
My topic's in the group too, you know?
Yeah.
Do you not see it?
Get on it.
But okay, I'll get on it. So, as I've complained, I think in the first podcast, I complained about the fact that I could not get a PlayStation 5, and the fact that people, like scalpers, are just taking them and just selling it at like double times or triple the price. People who actually bought their PlayStation 5 are not getting their PlayStation 5, whether it's through delivery, any sort of Amazon is on hot seat because they are accusing delivery drivers for taking PlayStation 5s out of the box and replacing it with bags of seed, a Foreman grill, or anything like a Nerf gun, just to make it seem like it's in there. And so when somebody opens the box, it's like, oh, that's not my PlayStation 5.
I actually heard about that. Not from Amazon specifically, but like I heard that people were getting, heard last week that people were getting PS5, the lucky ones that did order and their PS5 box is not PS5 on it. That is unfortunate. But you saying that what you just put up on the stream, PS5 accusing a delivery driver of stealing and firing them for it, I'm just like, so what is the proof? And I'm about to go into a mini rant, which is funny because the site that you found is on the screen rant. So Amazon likes to pin your stream and stuff. So Amazon has a problem with pinning stuff on people that they didn't actually do, and we'll go with mine. So you guys know I was fired from Amazon, right?
Yes.
Okay. Steve, do you know why I was fired from Amazon? I think Anima knows, but do you know?
Didn't they accuse you of like stealing something?
Yes. So, I was a supervisor, and the people that worked under me back there were stealing. Now, where I worked was in RSRX. If Anima remembers, was what the office was like. But the RSRX are really tall, basically towers that hold products that workers drive into when work down for stores. So But if they were stealing, I wouldn't know it because they go into the rack, and then Panama, where I was, the rack was way, the aisles were way tighter than they were and so seven. You literally tighten up the forklift back, so not the regular forklift, the stand-up one. Yeah. It was literally only tighten up the forklift. So they go in there, I'm not allowed to walk in there. They can take whatever they want, hide it where they want to, and then do whatever they want with it after that. They fired me because they felt that I had known what was going on back there. But how? How would I know? You guys know how the building is set up. If they're stealing, then what am I supposed to do about it? And funny thing is, when I first became a PA back there, aka supervisor back there, I reported thefts because there were empty boxes that I found of the Samsung earphones that came out. Mm-hmm. There were empty boxes, a whole bunch of them. So I went to my manager. I was like, yo, people taking stuff. I don't know who it is, but here you go. Do what you want with it. And then I get fired for apparently knowing that they were doing it and never reporting it. Come on, really? Amazon can go. Never mind. R-rated language coming up. Well,
if you're about to say, Amazon can go fuck themselves, I mean, you can go right ahead and say that.
No, they can go suck the biggest dick that they can, choke on it, and that's what they can do. That's how.
Well, I mean, in this case, the Amazon drivers are being caught through CCTVs, cameras from the people who are getting their delivery. Like, they would sit there, take the package to the door, take a picture, then they would scoop up the packages sometimes, and they would just leave nothing. They would just take it back, or better yet, they open the box in front of the door, take the PlayStation out, put something else in it, tape it up, and flip the box over, just so that they don't see immediately that it's been opened or something like that.
And in front of and delivery drivers have to know what Ring doorbells all are in front of the house. Come on.
Well, some of them do it in front of the house. I think some of them do it actually in the van when they realize, oh my gosh, this is a PlayStation 5. And these are people who probably want a PlayStation 5 themselves. And this is the fault of the person, who's stealing it. They shouldn't have stolen in the first place. But the other thing is that Sony knowingly have not enough stock or inventory at all. They didn't make enough PlayStation 5s to go around. Plus, they also know about the scalping thing that's going on, where that has been gone rampant. One group has 3,500 PlayStation 5s just sitting in their warehouse. And apparently there's an entire corporation or business around scalping.
Yeah,
where
okay.
Yeah, where they go around buying expensive stuff that's in the need, especially in these times where people are literally sitting in their house wasting away, and they are emotionally distraught, and they just want to find a reprieve of some sort. So they turn video games, they turn to digital media, some sort of entertainment, and PlayStation 5s was one of those things that people legit were trying to buy with actual money that they've earned. But scalpers on the hunt, they think that people will start buying, and people who have the money to dish it out and just aren't, they don't know that funding that whole thing is just not healthy for anything right now. But
I don't know how you don't know that, but we'll go with it.
People with money will not care.
Man.
People with money will not care. They will. They won't. They won't care. They won't care the fact that, oh snap, hey, 3 times a bot. Yeah, I know.
If they want to stop spending that amount of money for something that shouldn't be that amount of money, they better care. Even if they don't care about other people, care about yourself at least.
I don't know. I already weighed in on this earlier, and I'm not gonna go into the whole people with money issue. I'm not.
Okay.
But I mean, in this case, we're talking about a PlayStation 5. We're talking about people who actually are trying to buy it, but a bot that clicks at the speed of lightning is able to confirm, buy, take. The inventory goes to them.
Which in itself, I will say that. But go ahead.
And they're like doubling the price from like 500 to like 1,000, 1,200. I've seen 2,000. And Sony put up like a thing on Twitter, and they put up like a sign that says like, "Hey guys, the PlayStation 5 is flying off the shelves, and we're thankful for all the people buying." And we're like, come on, like you don't know that there's scalpers coming out of nowhere and buying up your inventory. You're getting money from the scalpers. You're not getting, like, nobody here has a PlayStation 5.
Well,
hold on. Some people have gotten their PlayStation 5s now. Not everybody's just kind of like out in the dark, but I will say that, like, I get it. The idea is that they're not going to focus on the scalping issue without a solution. People are going to be like, well, what are you doing about it? If they don't have a solution, then why would they even bring it up, you know?
We know that.
They have a small solution. It was announced recently. Oh my god, it's a lot of damage. They announced recently that I think we're over 15 minutes. I think you haven't been timing, but
that's because I've been watching the clock. But...
Okay, cool. I think they know and have a small solution because they announced recently that they're going to try and have more units by Christmas. Like that, just more units. So,
I don't know if that really solves anything.
It can't. So they can't deal with the scalpers themselves. So the only thing they can do is put out more units and make it available to the public. That's really the only thing they can do. At that point, it's a matter of catching the IP addresses that are buying the stuff. But they need to prepare for that. We all know how Sony is when it comes to hacking. Not necessarily the best, but it would wind up having to be a process for them, is what I'm saying. So I think they have a solution coming up, because if they didn't care, they wouldn't be making more systems. Because that's not necessarily a loss of money for them, but it could wind up being a loss of money for them.
I'd say it's more of a loss of money for the game developers. If people are not getting PlayStation 5s, then there's no point in getting the games.
So I feel they are aware, and they're trying to do something. It's not, but at the same time, it's not really a crap load they can do.
I think we'll have to just wait and see, because if they do make more units and people start actually getting their PlayStation 5s without scalpers buying it all up, then perhaps the scalping thing will end up dry, because there also was a report, I forgot to put that up there, that scalpers are just holding on to the units and not enough of them is being sold. But like there's like a whole group out there that's like holding on to PlayStation 5s, and they're just like hoping for by Christmas or even by around this time people would start, buying the PlayStation 5s off of their website.
Mm-hmm.
And if it comes right down to it and they can't sell any of the units by Christmas or by next year, they're just going to have to sell it for $500
to get their money back.
Right.
In that case, they should probably or we as a public should probably just make them eat their lunch and not even buy them from them after the holidays.
Right. I mean, the whole thing is that everybody's who's competent is telling everybody to just wait for the console. Just wait. Don't buy it immediately. Don't buy it for little Timmy or Susie for Christmas right now. You have to wait.
I'm just gonna say this: it's easier said than done. That is, it's even more easier said than done when you realize that, like, these kids out here have birthdays. That was the whole point of the like article you put up. Like somebody's 16th birthday only comes once, you know.
Right.
Like
I mean,
that was a girl too. That was supposed to be her sweet 16.
it's still a damn shame because it's like not only that, but like delivery drivers from Amazon, the people delivering that stuff, and they're just taking it out of the box.
Is this news to you, buddy? Like, did we just not talk about this? Let me tell you a story real quick.
Listen. If you look at that article, it's 1 day old.
I know the article's 1 day old, but like me and Panic both worked for Amazon. We know what happens. We've seen it. We understand the process of what goes on. And the stealing things from Amazon is nothing new. Like, they don't even... You want to know what's really funny? We're talking about the drivers, right? Okay, but the warehouse workers, they got to a point, at least around here, to where they were so desperate to hire people in for the holiday season that they stopped asking for high school diplomas.
That too, yeah, they did. You're right.
And what else did they stop asking for? You just said it.
Background checks.
Background checks. So we have people who didn't even finish school, potentially, and don't have their background check going into these warehouses to work for the holidays temporarily, as if their job is at stake. Come on now. Like, you're just going to get some people in. You're going to get a lot of people in, actually, that are kleptos, that are just not even, or can't resist the temptation, or are there for that very purpose, is to try to get up, steal something, do whatever. Because a lot of people, they'll work there and they'll be like, you know what, this sucks, and they won't come back.
Mm-hmm.
And they started trying to get people from well out of the territory of where the warehouse is around our way. Well, they started trying to get shuttles to go all the way out of state for people.
Dang.
Well,
Yeah.
Them's the news. So
That's
that. I mean, that's that.
Before we finish, though, like, keep in mind, out of the story I told you, granted, they fired me for no reason, but I did say that there were people stealing.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm saying that people from Amazon don't steal. They definitely do. It's just that Amazon has a tendency to just be like, we think you're stealing, so bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like either lazy management or just stupid people at the top.
It's not the top. It's a disconnect. It's people in the actual charge of the warehouses. You know how you just can't delegate everything consistently throughout the entire organization when it's grown as big as it is. You can't. Like, Amazon just might be growing too big for its bridges, but it can't exactly oversee. You can't just look at Jeff Bezos and be like, you should be at however many of your warehouses at once, making sure people aren't doing a thing.
That's
literally.
Yeah, that's true.
It's really the people at the bottom, and it's the sheer like pressure to get numbers. It doesn't just affect Amazon. It affects everyone who's in big business to like mass produce. You see it all the time. Even if you go to a fast food restaurant, like, are the employees at your local McDonald's really motivated to, get down with the bottom line of whatever the heck's going on at top?
Hell no.
All right, well, on to the next subject. Who's got next?
All right, whatever. I'm just saying. All right, so me and Panic actually have something different.
There's an addition to the subject, but since Skeptic isn't here, we should probably spend like 20 minutes on each subject. Remember, you said you want this to go longer than a certain time. If it's 15 minutes per and it's only 3 of us, it's not going to reach that time.
Oh yeah, that's why I've been neglecting the timer. That's why I've been like, oh yeah, I see the timer. I'm just letting it go a little longer.
All right, cool. Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the bashing of Amazon aside, who do you want to take your topic on first or mine?
Because I kind of want to go into detail with yours. I'd rather yours be last. So, hey, because we're definitely gonna have time to go into it. But so last week, there was a leak on Capcom's, and not necessarily their fault. I believe they were hacked. There was a leak that states a lot of their upcoming releases. And I mean like Q3, Q4, next year releases as well. And I'm just like, this is good. So let me pull it up real quick. So the list that's on here that I'm just gonna name the ones that catch my main eye. So Resident Evil Outrage, Street Fighter 6, which we knew was coming out anyway, Rockman, which we all know is Mega Man, Resident Evil 4 remake, which James has an eye for, Biohazard Apocalypse, which is Japanese Resident Evil. I don't remember what SSF is.
Super Street Fighter.
Oh, okay. Then it's that Final Fight, which Anima pointed out, and Power Stone. Power Stone remake though.
Oh my god! If I'm looking at this, okay. So Power Stone remake is absolute amazing. But I'm seeing something very stupid in here, and I guess that's very Capcom of them. But Resident Evil Outrage, that's pretty cool. And I'm guessing it's a different team doing Biohazard Apocalypse and Resident Evil 4 Remake, which is something that a lot of people are going to agree with. However, I'm curious about 4 Remake because I'm just like, so how are they going to remake a game that's already has a good foundation and it's like, already good looking? All you have to do is polish it. So
you know something? I know exactly how they're gonna do it. They're gonna update the controls. They haven't aged well.
Okay.
Not to mention there was hardware limitations at the time for what they were really going for. I imagine they're probably gonna amp it up a lot more because while it was a good, solid game for its time, for sure, and I was wondering the same thing. I'm thinking that with the improvements in how they've handled aiming, controls, and just the general ability to scope, because it was a big place, you know what I mean? Like every other Resident Evil prior to it was like in a confined space,
Okay.
And the one moment where I had an axe being thrown at me from like a whole half a mile away was when I realized that I wasn't playing. We weren't in Kansas anymore. Like the scale was huge. The fact that we actually had use for a sniper rifle in a Resident Evil game for the first time. You know what I mean?
That's actually, yeah. So I would probably guess they would go around like the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake.
Yeah.
Probably go around that time. I understand.
And even those games really were limited by the fact that you were in a confined space more often than not. So you still didn't have a sniper rifle in those games. It wasn't a thing. But now you have a game that can be really big.
Okay.
Really fleshed out.
So I'm also curious about Rockman, or Mega Man in North America. Rockman Match. I don't know if Rockman Match means anything. I'm curious.
The fact that they were dropping a Mega Man game in Capcom.
I think it's a side game, maybe. Because
even so,
it's still Mega Man. We thought Capcom was like
killed that franchise off for them.
I mean, Mega Man 11 is a thing. Mega Man 12 is a thing.
I don't care. They didn't really bring them back, did they? Did they?
They kind of did, because the latest Mega Man was really good. I like that Mega Man. I beat it like 5 times.
Right. But you also, I think the reason you wanna know why it was good, freaking the original creator for Mega Man, when he dropped, what was the name of that game?
Mighty Number 9.
When he dropped Mighty Number 9, a lot of people, everybody was disappointed.
You want to know something? When he dropped Mighty Number 9, Capcom was just like, "See, you can't do it without us." And he's not.
Go back?
He's actually not the head director on display for that Mega Man. He's hidden. You have to find his name in the credits. That's probably because he's like, embarrassed about like what he did, and he should be, because that's Mighty Number 9 wasn't all that great. He should have put more effort and start trying to market it as such as like some sort of new video game franchise so early. But I mean, as somebody once said, Koji Kondo is not. He wasn't really
Koji Kondo?
I said Koji Kondo, didn't I? I said Koji Kondo. I was thinking about Koji Kondo when I'm listening to this song right now. But You know who I'm talking about.
No, can you please say his name? Koji freaking Kondo.
There are two creators.
There are two. Director of media
there are two creators. Listen, there are two creators of Mega Man, and it's Kaiji Inafune, and I believe it's what's her name?
Oh.
She's the mysterious one.
You got Inafune. That's who you were thinking of.
Yeah, but the original creator of Mega Man is not just Inafune. He designed it. He didn't create it. Akira Kitamura.
Okay.
So the original creator, Akira Kitamura, right? I don't know if it's not he. I think it's no. Is it a he? It might be. There was I guess there were some talkings, and I think he's working with them again. But
yeah.
The original creator of the newest Mega Man game, or the original director, was just like, okay, Inafune, you can be my shadow, so that you can maybe give advice. But remember, you're on borrowed time.
You're merely an advisor, as Nick Fury said to Tony Stark.
Pretty much.
You're an advisor.
But what I'm more or less shocked by, other than the Resident Evil 4, and it's the 3 Street Fighters that I see on there in Power Stone.
Man, screw that. Power Stone, bro.
And then there's I'll talk about the Street Fighters, but Dragon's Dogma 2 is a game that has been a decade in the waiting for a lot of people.
Boy, Power Stone.
I don't think you understand Dragon's Dogma. I don't think
bro. Power Stone.
No, you do not understand. And
right.
You do not understand. First of all, why are they remaking Power Stone instead of making it Power Stone 3?
Because they probably look. Let me just say this: even if it's a remake, is actually anything close to all the remakes we've had as of late, not a remaster, a actual remake. I think you need to respect the sheer amount of time people have been waiting for that. Dragon's Dogma be 10 years in the making. I'm all right, laughs in Kingdom Hearts 3. But you can't laugh at Shenmue 3 dropping, because that took way longer of a wait.
Yeah, that took
and it was Garbo.
20 years.
I was just talking to Panic about that. That was a 20-year wait, bro.
Power Stone though? Listen,
Same era, bro.
Power Stone. Listen, Power Stone still has an arcade in Japan.
Who cares?
In that, and the fact that Power Stone is so niche. When I say Power Stone to a lot of other people, I heard of that thing. I've never played it, but I heard of it, and it's
stop it.
Listen,
all right,
that's something that we all have in common. What? Listen, I'm excited for Power Stone, sir, but Dragon's Dogma 2 is something that no one thought would ever be made. Because the creator said, fuck this, I'm not making another one.
Yeah, well, Sakurai said he wasn't making another Smash after Brawl.
Yeah, yep, and
Sakurai, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Here we are with 2 more.
2 whole more games, and not even just... No, he also, I heard he wasn't going to do K. Rool. But everybody who was in the outfit said...
I think at this point, Sakurai be saying a whole bunch of shit, and it's just somebody in Nintendo be but Smash, and Sakurai's yeah, you're right. It just makes it anyway.
Words don't mean nothing. But the wait though, I get it. All right, Dragon's Dogma 2, big deal. He said he wasn't gonna do it, but that doesn't mean anything. Really, it doesn't. But what I would say is that we really believe it when it's
I don't think you understand. I don't think you
3
understand.
console generations. It was just I don't think Power Stone's gonna happen. I didn't think Shenmue 3.
Listen,
I didn't even think Rush Hour 3
you can't be oh, big deal for something that is just as niche as Power Stone. Listen, I respect Power Stone. All right, Power Stone is fine. I'm happy. Okay, that it's coming out with a remake, but you can't just blow off Dragon's Dogma 2. Like that's not a game that people weren't waiting for. You just trying to disrespect it. I didn't disrespect Power Stone.
10 whole extra years.
I didn't disrespect Power Stone. I'm just saying though.
We just hoped for Resident Evil 4 remake. That wasn't even thing. We didn't even ask for that, but we need it.
Now that's something. That's something. That's something.
Monster Hunter 6 though, we should talk about.
So Monster Hunter 6. I don't think any one of us here actually plays Monster Hunter on a regular.
I actually did, but like all of the open are really into it. They've been trying to get me to play it for actual decade.
Monster Hunter
and then
World?
I finally played it and I didn't really kill it, you know, like I didn't jump head first into it and really go for it.
It's also a niche game. Like a lot,
bro. It's just more popular in Japan at the least, but it's very popular.
It's niche in the West. What do you want me to say? There's Monster Hunter 6. Which is something that's been I think that's been announced actually, because there is a Monster Hunter coming out for the Switch. I think it's probably a different Monster Hunter. Not 100% sure.
You know, yeah, they have a couple of Monster Hunters that are like side games, sort of. The one for the Switch. I forget their names, but they already announced them. Yeah, we saw the trailer.
Monster Hunter 6 is something to be excited for. But the reason why I said there's something about that Street Fighter is if you look at it, quarter 3, for 2022, I should say, Street Fighter 6 comes out, right? Then 2023, quarter 4, Super Street Fighter 6 comes out. And then 2024, Ultra Street Fighter 6 comes out. So this is a very Capcom thing that they do. They don't add DLC. This pretty much proves that they plan all this shit out, and then they're just like, all right, let's just tag in Super Street Fighter or Super in front of it and resell it. Oh, yeah, but we got an Ultra. Okay, we're gonna resell it.
Look, you already knew that was gonna happen. First of all, second of all, they're gonna keep buying it, and the community's trying to tell them not to do it. But you know, we also have a Platinum remake coming, and people are gonna buy it because it's Pokemon. Even though Game Freak literally just broke everybody's hearts.
You didn't like Sword and Shield?
Did I play it?
I mean, did you play
buy
it?
Did you? I'm not supporting that nonsense, bro. Like, it's not about the franchise, it's about that particular game's lack of effort. And you know what? I felt it in Sun and Moon too.
Yeah.
It fizzled out at the end as if they ran out of time. They got lazy towards the end. I know it because the game completely lacked end of game content. It was a very linear game. And while I did enjoy, you know, getting back used to Pokemon and doing something other than gym battles, I will say that like the game did not deliver towards the second half. It just didn't.
Yeah, so I think.
And like, while they're still making up for it, and I'm not even care about the whole Pokedex or Dexit. That was what it's called. It's really more about the fact that like they're moving so sluggishly along, and they're charging more for what essentially is really just the same thing. Like just because it's on the Switch console.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. It wasn't really worth it to me. I'm not spending my money on something like that. It did sell, but who the heck like is gonna tell somebody to not buy Pokemon because of consumer? You know. Yeah, whatever.
But not enough people will be thinking about that, and that's a sad thing to say. No, not a lot of people are going to think about like they've been doing the same practice of selling 2 games, which that's the thing for Pokemon. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah, but it was different back when it was 30 games or $30 or $40 each.
$40
$60 each.
On an actual smaller handheld, not a like mainstream console handheld that you can put on your TV now.
I mean, you could always put your handhelds on your TV. Don't give me that. It wasn't necessarily the most conventional
that's beside the point. The point is that it was cheaper. It was also utilized to be like more fun in that case. Because it's like
more money.
What the heck just happened there?
I'm not for it.
They're doing a Diamond and Pearl remake?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Really? Yeah, I'm mad he didn't get that part out of it. I think that we've been expecting it, but it's pretty much confirmed at this point. I forget I should have put that in the chat, but that's not my topic today.
We'll talk about that another day. But bruh, like low key, I actually really like Diamond and Pearl. Gold and Silver will always be my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Always. But between 3rd gen and 4th gen, I kind of have to give it to 4th gen for me. Just a little bit.
You're right, though. 4th gen is infinitely better than 3rd gen. I like a lot of the Pokemon from 3rd gen, but I'm playing through the 4th gen right now because I never technically beat Cynthia. And like sat on the game file for 10 whole years, and then I finally just restarted it. I just traded all the Pokemon to Heart Gold. And I straight up like am just getting reacquainted with the entire area and everything. And it's a blast, dude. Like, it's just what I remember Pokemon being. You know what I mean? And then there's the Battle Frontier, which I never even experienced. I have to get into it.
So,
you know?
I think that's fine. I would say it was around the time when they went full 3D is when they started falling off.
And that's when they started going a little downhill. They were prioritizing the wrong thing, you know?
I think at this point in time, I don't know who's like ahead of creating these Pokemon games, and no matter how many videos show how much they're working hard, whoever is up there making these details and coming up with these plans should probably reevaluate the times and what they should like. I think honestly, if it takes 5 years for them to make the next Pokemon game, and they come out with like a full, even like if it's full one disc, right? And I know they want to still do the whole 2 games thing, but we're on a Switch now, so I think
they could avoid the whole 2 games thing.
There are ways to get around this, like, you know, seeds.
They drop a 3rd game anyway, typically.
Like they can implement seeds in their game, so whoever has like what certain type of seed, they'll get certain type of Pokemon in their game, and that way trading can still be a thing. They should probably reevaluate like how maybe the battle system works, and I like the battle system. Don't get me wrong. Like, you know, the whole 4 moves.
They got so many Pokemon. Why don't they do it by region? Like, wherever your actual region is what Pokemon would show up in your particular version of the game or something. Like, they really just need to drop a Pokemon world at this point. Like,
I think they should, because they've pretty much gotten all over the world except for like maybe Africa and Australia.
Yeah, where you probably find the craziest Pokemon, but like still.
And maybe China, but they're never doing China because apparently Japanese people hate China.
All right, look, that's a stigma, but
we're
not going to go. They do have
the point.
China.
The point,
in, like, the regions. What are you even talking about? Actually,
I mean, the point is that I think at this point they should try to actually put not the minimum amount of effort to make a Pokemon game that is like the handheld series to be implemented into a 3D series. They should just make it full 3D.
Make it so that we can like explore a world that isn't based off of the old concept of
They really need to upgrade a whole bunch of things.
Valley and just make a game that's not necessarily based off of the different regions.
They should honestly just upgrade a whole bunch. Like they've had 25 years to work out the kinks in terms of like, you know, the battle system and the animation. And I know there's like 1,000 Pokemon now or something.
They don't need more.
I know they don't need more. I know they don't.
They need to give it a break.
Hear me out. I'm so sorry. Hear me out. I'm going off of what Anima just said. But at the same time, I've always felt what I'm about to say right now. Please, just we're on console era now. Please, just make a game that has all the regions, so we can go to. Like you did good with the open world that you just released. Right. Let us go to all the regions, please.
Too much work.
Yeah, just like no, it wouldn't be
too much work.
It wouldn't be too much work because they have the resources. Now, if Skeptic were here, he would interrupt you right there and be like, "I don't want to hear that," because for a company that makes as much money as they do, they have more than enough resources to make the game.
True.
They just don't put in the work.
I was being half-hearted. You don't have to take that seriously.
No, that would be. He would have basically took over that whole conversation right then and there. In his spirit, I'm basically telling you, no, I don't want to hear that. Like,
too much work. We can't do it. No, I understand that. Like, I've been saying that for a while.
You got a segue. Yeah.
I've been saying that for a while now. So, like, hey, can't we just have like all regions in one Pokemon game or something like that?
If they're remaking all of the regions into games anyway, why don't they just go for it? Like, they could just make it so that there's not a huge freaking, oh no, here's another villainous group of people plot. And you already know that I'm gonna bash on Pokemon inconsistencies all day long. Like, why does every single region have a major crime organization?
Right. And I don't know, it's fun. They could do in this one where they make all the regions accessible is let there be one head guy that's been in control of all these organizations this whole time.
That would be
You know what?
Each organization on different regions, even the ones that weren't supposed to be in a region. So like Kanto region, you're fighting Team Aqua or Team Magma, and in the freaking Kanto region, like what are y'all doing here?
Exactly. That would be actually pretty sick, because they've consistently persisted this whole entire, oh, we got team this, team that, team. Like, a part of what league is this whole entire team system going on here? Where's the criminal Pokemon League at? I want to actually be, you know what? There was a big idea that the internet had that we should play as the Grunts. There should be like a team or a criminal Pokemon game where you're that
funny
person.
About all
that would be amazing. I would totally do it.
You know what's funny about all that? So the idea of working as a grunt has already been done in Pokemon Coliseum 2. Or no, Pokemon Coliseum.
No, that wasn't it. It was a rogue.
The main character, though silent as he is, was actually part of the criminal organization. He just betrayed them.
Ex-soldier.
And the whole, like, why can't all the criminals be like under one person, or like there's one person behind the scene? I would honestly love to see Giovanni come back.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, because Giovanni is like one of the biggest masterminds we've come to know, and all of these.
Yeah, the dude literally disappears.
And so does his son, the gold rival.
Silver. And he doesn't disappear, so to say. His lore is that he does go and search out his father, but he stays in contact with Professor Elm. So he doesn't really disappear, so to say.
I don't know, but if they did a soft reboot with the show where he goes to all the different regions, they need to get that. They need to get on that for a game, because Ash is about to go to all the different regions. If you remember my topic.
No, we're not talking about Ash.
I don't care. We're not talking about Ash. We're talking about the concept that they're putting Ash through, where he's going to all the regions so far. That's what should be a game right now. I don't care if it's Ash. I want to see a game where they just implement all the towns. We don't even need a plot. Or if you are, make all the teams cooperate.
If they come out with a Pokemon World, you should be able to choose your first region, and then every subsequent region just becomes that much harder.
Yes.
Until
or somebody,
like, you break the level threshold instead of just level 100. Like...
No, actually, don't even break that, bro. How many Pokemon do you traditionally get to level 100 in a good old-fashioned regular run of Pokemon?
Okay. So Pokemon Sword and Shield has this really funny exploit.
I'm not talking about an exploit, and I don't even want to
if you want to answer a question for that, like every single Pokemon that I've ever had, I've gotten at least 3, but mostly I'd get like all 6 of my main Pokemon to level 100, and it's not usually that hard.
Tremendous effort, though.
It's not usually that hard.
It's not, but it doesn't. It's not like the game makes it easy. It takes a grind,
depending on what you... Like I said, there's always exploits.
How do you get them to 100 then? Tell me.
So, Pokemon 1, you can go through either the Elite Four, which gives you a ton of experience, or you go through Mewtwo's Cave. Pokemon Gold and Silver, you can stay in Mount Silver, for which there is an exploit for experience as long as you have a certain item in your inventory, which you can also use experience share, which gives a tremendous amount of experience to all your Pokemon. Third and fourth, I know there's an exploit, but I can't get it right now because I haven't played them lately.
Exploits, though.
I know they're exploits, but
were they exploits or were they grinds?
They're like, for 3 and 4 specifically, they were more like half and half. I would say more of a grind. There is effort put into it,
But what about the first two that you mentioned?
the first two definitely there is an exploit, but I chose to go for the grind.
How many hours do you put into that though?
How many hours? Not many. You can go through the Pokemon League about like 10 times from level 60 or 70, and you can get to like 89 to 90.
With what exploit?
There's no exploit in that. That's just how much experience you get.
No way.
10. I said 10 times, so that is
10
effort.
times? But no, I've done it 10 times and I haven't gotten that close, bro.
I said 80 or 90.
No, listen. All right. So Sun and Moon, you know how you just let you experience or give you basically all around experience points for all the whole team.
Yeah.
I know I've beaten the Pokemon League 10 times and I'm not close to no 80 or 90.
Sun and Moon.
Yeah, but like back in the day, I didn't get that close either. I don't know what you're talking about.
Then I don't know what you're remembering.
Bro,
I definitely
Pokemon Yellow.
did in Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow. I went through the Elite Four, and I did go into Mewtwo's cave, but Mewtwo's cave is like
that's
not
extra.
Really. That's not. I mean, you don't really get all that much
Mewtwo himself
experience.
is like level 70, but
but that's
not
like
any Pokemon, so
that's not as much experience. But repeating the Elite Four nets you tons of experience, especially for your entire group. So I don't know what you're remembering.
Well, you got to put every Pokemon into the same battle with each Pokemon. You do a lot of
like I said, I don't know what you're remembering, but that's how I at least got mine to like level 90. And I don't know about Moon and Sun and Moon. I didn't play much of that, but I heard that Pokemon is like easy as balls.
It is because you can level up Pokemon at once at all times. Like there is no one experience share. Because back in the day, you just had the one. Right now, I'm working with 2 from trades in Platinum, going through that. And I mean, with traded Pokemon level up pretty dang fast, but like that's about it.
And I can tell you that Sword and Shield is the easiest because you could just go into the caves and get things called experience candies, which literally just gives your Pokemon experience. You can keep going into those caves either by yourself or with other people, which is their shtick. And just keep going back in. You always get experience candies in like the bulk, and you get level 100 Pokemon easy.
Well, I'll say this: that's the most recent and only the most like clear way to get your Pokemon to 100 without as like mundane Pokemon League grind. Because I'm just saying this for my own personal health. If you want to exceed the threshold, I don't think many people, and I'm talking about the not like super committed gamer, you know what I mean? Like the person who's out here trying to build teams from sheer amounts of breeding, trying to get the exact IVs before people knew what IVs were. I'm sure there's a ton of people who don't even know what Pokerus is still. Like, I'm serious. Like, Pokerus is a whole different situation. You don't know.
No, that's
people really would never make it to 100 in a typical run. You don't have to.
I understand that, and
so
that's fine. But if
100, in my opinion, you just can't get more Pokemon to 100 if you have a longer game that just gives you more opportunity to fight more trainer battles. I'm
just saying, if they're going to put all of their regions in there, then level 100.
Level 100 is fine.
Level 100 can be gotten. I'm saying that if you're going through all the regions, dude,
out of 1,000,
out of like, I don't know how many regions there are now.
8.
8. Okay, if there's 8 regions, right, and you can get by the end of the first region, right, you're at level 50. How much do you think you will grow in the second region, and then the third region, and then the fourth region?
If you want to raise different Pokemon, I mean, at that point, you're just incentivized to raise more than 6 Pokemon to 100. Like you just said, 6. Even the original game, 150. How many Pokemon do you want to be able to use?
But what? I don't know. I don't know if people will want to go ahead and just be like, all right, reset, go to the next region. All right, reset, go to the next region.
Too. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different Pokemon. You can raise a lot of different Pokemon.
It's kind of what Gold and Silver did. Remember when you first got to Gold and Silver, the first 2 towns were like level 10, level 20 Pokemon trainers. Like you could have bought a brand new Pokemon, especially since when you catch new Pokemon, they are a certain level. They're not your level, and you can use newer trainers to train up those Pokemon. That was the whole point of that. So when
Exactly.
you go to a new region, those at least I think they should keep it this way. When you go to a new region, the earlier towns like Pewter City from Kanto and Gold and Silver still have weaker Pokemon. It would be in that way it would give you a chance to level up, because if not for that, how are you aside from experience share?
Okay. All right, then that makes.
If you want to battle and actually choose the moves and not have to rely on the Pokemon daycare center to actually raise up Pokemon, you might have got late game. Like when they give you a dragon Pokemon that's all low on level, and you're just like, what am I gonna do with this now?
Yeah, but didn't they in Gold and Silver the gyms basically stayed the same level as you though?
No, they just kind of scaled up. Like in Platinum, it was a little ambiguous because of the order that you can go into different gym battles.
That's what I mean.
Which is why your Pokemon didn't necessarily, from trades, get obedient after a certain time. It was by gym badge.
No, what I mean is
you get up to level 34, you get up to level 50 that obey. It didn't necessarily say which gym had that particular attribute.
Okay, so
he's talking about Kanto. Sorry.
Yeah, what I'm talking about is when in Gold and Silver, you beat the first 8 gyms, you beat the Pokemon League, right? Mm-hmm. Then you go to Kanto, and the gym leaders aren't weaker; they actually are stronger. So the first,
not completely. Completely. So, gym you fight because you get there by a boat first. The first gym you're able to fight is
Lieutenant Surge.
He wasn't on the level of the 8th gym. But when you got to him, he was a little lower. Not by much, but he was a little lower. The only ones and then the order in which you went to the gyms in Kanto was very, very different.
True.
So I remember Misty was about the same level as Surge, a little higher. But after that, I believe the levels of the gyms start to go by how Kanto used to be. So like, with the exception of Erica, I think Erica was in her 30s or 40s. But other than that, everybody started going by after her. Everybody started going by the same level.
And then they eventually did get stronger than the region's
because
those leaders, but they did still scale back a little bit.
I do particularly remember that after I think the 3rd gym in the Kanto region is when they started appearing to be higher level than your Pokemon.
Yeah.
By the time you reach Blue, he's still an asshole because he used the mirror room trick, but he was pretty much like, if not just a little bit under like Red's level.
Yeah, that's the champion of the league for Kanto. So the Kanto Elite Four is stronger.
No, it's the same Elite Four. They share the same Elite Four.
But in levels?
No, the Elite Four for Johto is the same for Kanto.
I thought he took Lance's place.
No.
Because Lance was traveling.
No,
he didn't. And I
will say also one of the Elite Four in there too.
Who?
Yeah, Koga is an Elite Four member somewhere. I don't know if it's Johto or Kanto.
Yeah, he is an Elite Four member. Yeah.
Four though.
Go ahead.
Blue took over for Giovanni in the 8th gym.
Okay.
So 8th gym, Blue's the one that's there.
Right.
Lance winds up taking back his mantle. I don't think because he beat Blue. I think Blue just stepped down because of what happened to Giovanni. And Lance, you wind up having to be in the Elite Four. The thing is that there was no Kanto Elite Four. After you got the Kanto, the reward for going through Kanto and beating all that was getting to Mount Silver, so you could go to Red. So it was Johto Elite Four, Kanto, Mount Silver.
Wait, you sure there wasn't a Kanto Elite Four? Because I'm pretty sure I'm there.
Johto and Kanto share the same Elite Four. So you can take a different path, but it'll send you straight to the same Elite Four.
Yeah.
So
there were 3 exits once you got into that area. The one to the left is Mount Silver. The one up is
Yeah, you're right. You just go to it again, don't you? They get stronger. You go a second round.
You can go for a second round, and they do get stronger.
Yeah, but then their levels go up by like a whole 20-something%.
Yeah.
So
yeah, okay, you're right.
But like Panic said, the real challenge is getting to Mount Silver, and that's where you fight the true boss of the game, which is yourself from the last game.
Okay. Well, either way, I do know that they give you weaker Pokemon in certain areas that are wild that you can train up that aren't as strong as your current Pokemon. Like, you're not just rolling around fighting level 30, 40 Pokemon.
Right. But
Pokemon wild were scaled down, definitely scaled down. The trainers in those same areas were scaled down. The gym leaders were only scaled down a little bit, not a lot. And
keep the main team going. Yeah,
and then I think it was after the third gym, which I believe was Erica. After Erica, they start scaling back up to original red and blue levels, and then past that.
Got it. Okay, I don't know. I have to replay through Heart Gold anyway. I'm just kind of swapping Pokemon back and forth because I just beat Maylene. Because she Maylene, because she's a fighting gym. Get it? She Maylene.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about like the effort of how they're putting their Pokemon in, Sword and Shield still just failed. But I mean,
Sword is Ultra Moon.
Anima, you had something that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, my segue actually was to do with we're talking about rogue ex-soldiers and criminal organizations.
No, you said you wanted to talk. I thought.
Yeah, I had a segue. I forgot it. Okay. I was about to say something about all right. So Final Fantasy VII Remake. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes. So Japan, 2 months after the game's release, released an Ultimania that was only released in Japan. It was faithfully translated by the user Audrey. No.
Audrey?
It says Audrey there, but that's not Aitai Mochi. I guess Audrey is the person though. Well, thank you, Audrey. Other Audrey, not Audrey. Anyway, there's an Ultimania. Alright, this thing's huge. It has all this information in it. But two of the most important things that they mention are Aerith and Sephiroth. Sephiroth and his many forms, apparently. Panic. There are 4 forms of Sephiroth. As soon as I mention Audrey, her voice rings into the. Can you guys hear her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mommy's not doing a good job. Anyway, she's cute though. I can't be like mad at her.
So
anyway, there's 4 forms of Sephiroth in this game, but they're not like what you might think. The only actual Sephiroth that we see in the game who's an actual Sephiroth, who's really Sephiroth, is really the one you fight at the end, just in case you didn't know.
No, I figured
it out.
I figured that, yeah.
But the other stuff is kind of like relevant. Hold on a second.
Oh, sorry. I was actually reading one of those articles. I'm looking at it, and
yeah, there's 2 articles that I highlight in particular. But like, the Aerith thing is the one thing that I want to talk about the most.
What does Aerith know? Right.
So, Panic, do you want to lead off onto what you were thinking about, and then we'll go into like Maximilian's theories?
Real quick, I'm on the link that you, not that you sent, the one where we can actually read the Ultimania. I'm making sure I'm on the right thing for that.
Yeah, Aitai Kimochi or something?
I think this is it. No, that was it. I can't find where I can read the information. Oh, there are translations. How about that?
Yeah, sure. You're right.
Hold on. Then scroll down. There's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, it's a whole ass book.
So I think everybody's like theories are basically coming into fruition.
we kind of, I mean, they wanted us to do that. They kind of were hoping we would speculate and come up with our theories and ideas of what's going on. You know, that was their statement. We're excited to see what people come up with as they speculate about the game's events.
Wouldn't this also upset like the really deep try-hard fans who are just like, no, it has to stay the same?
I mean, who cares about them though? What's really cool is how
did they not say that they wanted to make a game for the Final Fantasy VII fans?
You know, not all the fans care that the game's not going to be exactly the freaking same.
True.
I'm cool with it.
I mean, true. You can expect changes because they want to make the game longer. But in terms of like the story that people fell in love with,
are you one of those fans?
No.
Is that what we're getting at?
No. I honestly want to see a change. I want to see a different story. That's just me because I went through 7, and honestly, I love the story. But if they're going to make another story or another timeline, I am highly interested in seeing how they would change things.
Well, let's kind of break the ground as to what we're even talking about. So, for anybody who has not played Final Fantasy VII at all, Final Fantasy VII Remake was originally perceived as a return to form for Square Enix as they revamped one of their most beloved Final Fantasy franchise of all time, which was 7, featuring the one you may know or at least have heard of and seen, Cloud Strife, with his big old Buster Sword and his main antagonist Sephiroth with the bigger, longer sword, Masamune. Most people don't know the name.
Longer sword, not bigger.
Longer. Not want to say bigger, but longer for sure. So, Sturdy Dumb Trunk versus whatever the heck you want to call a long one has been a feud that many fans have, relished in. However, they never really truly had an HD version of it. The blocky textures of Final Fantasy VII haven't aged well over time. However, when we got Advent Children, people had speculated about a potential remake, and they never said they were going to do it, but they dropped a tech demo that made people think, oh, this could be a thing. And then they said, nah, we ain't doing that, too much work. Then they did it anyway. Because we can't really just trust somebody saying we're not going to do something. I think that was the segue. And so basically, when they did drop it, they acted like they were just going to, make it the same. But Nomura, what just happened? Hello? Did my game just shut off?
Did your game just shut off?
Game just said, you aren't playing it, so it's going to go into sleep mode. I'm like, oh, excuse me. Hi, I'm here. And now I'm sitting down on the couch. On the floor. All right. So basically, what happened was there were things that were happening in the game that were a little different. The biggest, most noticeable difference being the whispers. If you did play Final Fantasy VII Remake, that effectively was those giant Dementor-looking things everybody was calling. And we have dubbed them the original fans. The people who are just like, no, the game must be the same, ensuring that the plot stays exactly as it's supposed to, which is funny. But, Sephiroth said, nah, give me that. I'm going to change it. And then they were like, no! It's like, do you hear their screams? The fanboys, their tears. Nomura's out here like, I will take them and I will drink them.
Nomura is crazy.
Anyway, the whole idea is that we kind of had some hints as to what was going on, and one of them was Aerith. And Aerith's involvement in the game seems kind of like more significant this time around, in that whenever somebody touches her, they can see these whispers that are altering, or rather, trying to prevent the alteration of the original timeline. If you had not beat Final Fantasy VII Remake, spoiler alert, coming along, but effectively, Aerith kind of gets into some things where she says things that she shouldn't know anything about. So one of my articles is actually about Aerith's secret. What does Aerith know? And so I'll hand it over to Panic so that I don't get so overwhelmingly about it. Because I think he can handle the topic a little bit better. And then he can talk about the other game that also has a lot of hints as to what's going on.
So I had noticed a few things with Aerith going through, which one can I bring up right now? When she was talking to Cloud about something, and she's just like, Oh, you know what? Here's the best one. So when they're in the sewer, her Tifa and Cloud, she acknowledges that the future is not set in stone. And there was no reason, just no reason at all. Nothing happened in that scene for her to say that at all. She was just saying, basically, don't lose hope. No matter what happens from this point forward, we'll get through it. And just remember, the future is not set in stone. Those are not her exact words. That is a summary of what she said. But she was foretelling that things are about to get screwed real soon. And I'm just like, Aerith, what do you know?
That's a good call out too, actually.
What is going on in this brain of yours? And ever since the beginning, ever since the whispers were holding her, like you called this out for me, the whispers were holding her there so that she wouldn't miss Cloud. It is possible with all this that she was probably trying to miss Cloud. Now that we think about this, because I'm just like, how long has she known whatever she knows? Because throughout the story, she drops all these hints, and at the very end of the story, she finally lets loose that she knows of what he's trying to do, and possibly why he's trying to do it. Even during the final fight, like,
yeah,
she knows how to deal with him. I'm just like, Eric, please.
You know who else knows what's going on a little bit more?
Red 13?
No.
Well, Sephiroth, obviously.
Well, yeah, no, I wasn't talking about in game. I'm talking about out of the game. You know who has some secrets up her sleeve that she didn't want to say anything about?
Yeah.
Brianna White, the voice actress of Aerith Gainsborough.
I think all
who streams under the tag The Strange Rebel Gaming.
I think all the voice actors know.
Well, I know, but like, she's the one who has, very prominently streamed the game. And there were certain moments where she also hinted at knowing something that Aerith knew, and that she couldn't say anything about, didn't want to say anything about, saying, isn't that interesting? So she's kind of highlighted certain moments herself. But I'll tell you this, Panic, it wasn't that she was trying to miss Cloud. Who distracted Cloud from his original path in the first place? Do you remember what happened right before he ran into Aerith in the remake? That was out of the ordinary.
Who did distract him? I don't remember. Because he escaped. Sephiroth was there, yes. He was in the alley, so that should have never happened.
Yeah, but that was a whole illusion that he put him through that showed off Nibelheim. Remember?
Oh yeah, the Nibelheim incident. That was early as hell.
It also, the music there, really super extra sensory, by the way, had a little bit of the score from Advent Children in it. And that was very intentional.
I mean, I'm not going to talk about what people are theorizing, but I'm just...
No, that was the legit thing.
I'm saying that we all know that both Aerith and Sephiroth know something that obviously they know, and they're not going to say until like maybe later on. But Aerith did like a whole 180 on her personality at the very end of the game, where she was like, bubbly and so kind-hearted and being a better Aerith.
Well, maybe she was confronting somebody who she knew was like, not about it. I mean, in the very beginning of the original game, they don't really know who Sephiroth is or what his intentions are.
Right.
Well, I mean...
Well, okay.
But not really, because he's...
Cloud and Tifa do.
Well, Tifa doesn't say anything.
Right.
Cloud is unreliable narrator, and Tifa is the secret holder.
No, because... Oh god, what's happening?
Yeah, Design hasn't been responding. I said something and he didn't answer, so...
What the heck happened? Design! You need to... I think... There we go.
Yeah, something's happening on his end. Alright, well, let me just say this. Maximilian was in belief that Sephiroth, first of all, is Sephiroth from the future.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if we want to talk about those kinds of theories as of yet, Because you might be right, and you might be galaxy braining this. It's still happening.
Yeah, but it's Max Payne who really kind of catapulted the whole situation, because he said, you know what? It was in the very first picture that they gave us that has Sephiroth and Cloud in it, where he has his one wing. And even Skeptic was just like, I don't know what you're talking about when I said this, but I was like, he didn't get that wing until Advent Children.
I mean, yeah. And I think that was, I mean, if nobody really got those hints that, you know, maybe they're from a different time,
Well,
then I don't know. Still happening. Leave the call and come back in or something. I don't know what to tell you, man.
He said, leave the call.
I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, you ain't gonna be like that about it. He's just trying to troubleshoot, man.
There you go. There you go.
I was trying to charge my headphones. Apparently, they're freaking out right now, which is weird because I did that the first time around. So I think I might know what the problem is, but I'm gonna deal with it for now because we're not gonna be on this for much longer.
Okay.
Real quick, sorry. I heard most of what you guys said. I just need to point something out. Jane, Anima, when you had mentioned that he was from a different timeline, I was like, yeah, you were probably right. And then something happened on this game called Opera Omnia, which is a mobile game. It's a Square Enix game. It's all the Final Fantasy characters in one. People may know what Dissidia is. It's basically that, but on a wider scale, but it's more RPG than it is fighting. And in the story, basically, these characters are brought back to a different world, a world of reprieve. And in this world of reprieve, it doesn't matter if they've died previously or if they've been alive, they're at their end-game states. Most of them, at least. Yeah, most of them memory-wise and strength-wise are at their in-game states. Which means if these characters, bad guys, have died, they're brought back to life and brought to this new world. And remember, having died. The reason I'm bringing this up because there's two reasons. Sephiroth knows what happened to him and in the world of Final Fantasy VII when he's brought back to this world. And in the game, I've sent you guys pictures. This wasn't recently that I sent you pictures, but I sent you pictures when it came up in the story. In the game, it is said that when whatever we're dealing with is all over, it is possible that we can go back to our world in whatever timeline we want to. So we can go back to with our current state back to before everything went to hell and mold it however we want because of our current updated knowledge. And I saw that and I was like, Anima, oh my god.
So
that was huge.
That is huge. That also goes in the line of like the void theory for Final Fantasy as a whole, because I don't know if you know this theory, guys, but Final Fantasy has this thing where everything started from from Final Fantasy 1, and how it started is the first hero from Final Fantasy 1 is the same person who's the Warrior of Light in Dissidia, but he was born in Dissidia, who was created by Cid, who comes from Final Fantasy 1. And because of the interactions of the Warrior of Light with pretty much every character and cast in the Final Fantasy series, he had a bit of an influence, which also him having an influence over the gods as well, because Cosmos did a lot of the things that she did because of the Warrior of Light and what he did. So,
which I want to point out real quick, I'm sorry, Cosmos is a way better god than Materia, but continue.
We know. we know. Materia, well, Cosmos made Materia and Spiritus, which, you know, nice of her, I guess. But if Panic, what you're saying is that the Sephiroth and anybody, right? But Sephiroth and Aerith may actually have connections from Dissidia to Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
That would be mind-blowing.
Yeah.
and go ahead.
What I think it really is it might not be Aerith, but I think Aerith is getting a bit of help from the planet So I think Sephiroth. I absolutely think Sephiroth is the city of Sephiroth. Absolutely, because that was pointed out like way too clearly, and I'm just like, I think there's something going on here, and that would also not point, but hint to the possible ending of Opera Omnia, whenever that is, because it's going to be a long time till we get an ending to that story. But yeah, I think Sephiroth in remake is the city of Sephiroth, and he knows what's going on, and he's trying to do whatever he can to change it. Because that was also one of the arcs for a lot of the bad guys. They felt so in disarray because of what happened, and they don't want to go back to their world because there's nothing left for them. They're dead. They want to change whatever they possibly can in the new world that they're in, but once it's revealed that they could possibly go back to a time before they died and with their current knowledge, then some of them calm down and just work towards trying to deal with the conflict. And I'm just like, and also, I'm not sure if you've gotten up to this point, Sync, but there's a point in which Sephiroth, like, he starts to become stronger than the two gods, like because of the conflict in Arc 2. In the story, he started to take advantage of it, and he got to a point where he's stronger than both the gods.
Yeah,
and that's a problem.
I got to that point. Yeah, I got to that point, and it was ridiculous. But I'm like, yo, that's Sephiroth. That's Sephiroth.
Exactly.
He would definitely do that. But I remember also that Spiritus didn't really do anything about it. He just let it happen.
That was until he did. You're right. He didn't do anything about it until he realized Sephiroth was threatening the world.
Right.
Like their current world, and he was like, nope, can't let this happen.
And I have to hand it to Spiritus. I think he's stronger than he lets on, because he definitely just banished Kefka into another dimension. Just left him there.
True.
So, and Materia, she's starting to get like Cosmos syndrome because she's weaker than she originally was. Definitely. And she's probably expending all of her energy for her warriors, which, cool, but kind of need her alive. In fact, I think she actually died once and was brought back by Spiritus. I think, if I'm remembering that correctly. Because I know Spiritus doesn't come off as a person who... he doesn't come off as like a bad guy. He comes off as a person who wants order. Or like, he wants balance. He's kind of like Hades in that way, where he's not evil, he just wants balance, and he knows that he needs Materia alive for the balance to work. Like, he's never come off as a bad guy, and the only reason why I think he brings any of the villains to the world of Dissidia, which it's called World B, by the way.
I didn't know that. Okay.
I think it's because he knows that what Materia wants is order, and so he knows to counteract order you need chaos, which is the reason why he brings the villains over. Which sometimes when he brings over a villain, they're not really villains. Like the time he brought over Aranea, and he was just like, just go do whatever you want. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna go join the good side. See ya. And that one dude from Final Fantasy VI turns out to be broken anyway.
Leo.
Yeah. And he turns out, he was like, even though he was an enemy, he's like, he's actually a good guy. That deep down. Right. And he just joins him anyway.
Is too, though, in the low.
Golbez?
Who?
Yeah, Golbez.
Yeah, same thing with Golbez.
Yeah, Golbez just has like a problem because he has guilt. He has a lot of guilt, and he didn't want to like interfere with his brother. But then his brother's like Cecil's just like, "What's wrong with you? Get over here." It was actually kind of warm to see them just
come in for this hug, Negro.
Yeah, it was kind of warm.
Same with Jack, but I won't go there because I don't really know what's going on in the game. But I will say this.
Jack,
back on topic. Not to say that I don't want it to be
Yeah.
what you call it. I was gonna like highlight a few extra theories that kind of lend to what we're talking about, in case you did or didn't know what the speculation was.
Yeah. I mean, I think at this point everybody knows like what the
Who's
theory
everybody?
is.
Well, I'll say this: there's a few extra key details I wanted to mention.
Go for it.
Because I don't. So like, Panny didn't realize because I was talking about it earlier that Aerith knows Cloud is first class soldier, but like master of all trades. Like she takes his line from the original. I thought it was weird, but I wrote it off as a rewrite. But she plays it off like she knew that and he wasn't sure why, and then she tried to cover it up. And I think that was a hint that she knows, and it was confirmed that that was something she shouldn't have known in the Ultimacia, or the whatever you call it, Ultimanium. And then on top of that, how the more important one, honestly, was how she knew where to find Marlene. Because Tifa never told her about the bar, its name, or its location.
Right.
But she knew exactly where to go, and she cut Tifa off before she was able to explain to her where to find Marlene. A lot of people are stuck with like, how does she know Marlene's name? Like, she mentioned Marlene's name, but she didn't know where she was, and she insisted she already knew that before Tifa got a chance to explain it to her. In the original game, Tifa explains in full where to find her, and that's how Aerith gets her.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's an important detail to catch in game while you're playing, to be like, how does she know that? It's one thing if she knows about Cloud, a lot of people can suspect that it was because of Zack, right? But really, that one shouldn't have been. That was completely left field for me, and I didn't write that off as a change. That was a genuine hint that she knew more than she should have. Then there's the fact that everybody who touches her ends up seeing the whispers, and I had to explain that theory to you guys a while ago.
You were the first one to catch on to that, and when you said it, I was like, oh, you know what? That makes sense.
Yeah. Cloud touches her, but then now people are like, well, how did everybody else end up seeing him? Well, guess what? Tifa touches Cloud, and then Tifa also touches the others. So you just don't see it, but the exchange happens very subtly.
It's
the flower
touch
that she takes from Cloud, their whole celebration in the bar. And Cloud also touches the others. So like he goes down to the slums from the top with who? Big Boy.
You want
Biggs. Wait, Wedge.
So okay, yeah. To elaborate, Aerith touching Cloud and giving him the flower also spreads the touch to everybody else who can see the whispers and interact with the whispers. So
true. But it's more important that I mentioned that even if that hadn't happened through the flower, Cloud touched Wedge, and so did Jesse, and so did
There's also another thing to
Biggs.
it, though. The whispers only appear to those who are the grand actors, because you gotta remember how many people that Tifa, Biggs and Wedge, Barrett, and Marlene interact with on a daily basis. True, and nobody else is able to see them.
Who actually shoves Cloud?
Shoves Cloud?
Barrett does. Remember in the bar?
I mean,
there's a point in time where they actually make physical contact as well.
I mean, yeah, but what I'm saying is that I don't know if the relevance of who's able to see the whispers at the point because the interaction of Cloud is like a major plot point of what you're trying to say, because Aerith is basically the central focus, and what she knows is being leaked, because as soon as she touches Marlene gets an epiphany saying like, oh, this has happened before, I think. And Red 13 just, I don't know why they changed that, but when he touches Aerith, it's like, oh, now I can talk. But he
Aerith
also
does that intentionally, though.
Yeah.
She does do that, and it's a little bit different than when everybody can see the whispers. Because think about how like her and Tifa high five, you know what I mean? And like Earth in this dramatic moment, you know what I mean? Hold on. Anybody who, and then you have to think about Sung. I mean to say he could see. Or he couldn't see the whispers. Some couldn't see the whispers, but then what's his name could? What was his name? Rufus.
Rufus could see him.
Yeah. Rufus could see the massive storm of whispers outside of the makeup building. He's like, "What is this?"
Hey, you're right. And some was like,
Yeah.
"What are you talking? Are you
Like-
okay, sir?"
Like
Yeah,
I
you're
said,
right.
it's
But did Rufus touch Aerith?
yes,
When?
the tower
When?
on the tower.
When did he touch Aerith?
I mean,
He didn't.
let's think about this for a second.
All right, I'm listening.
So, he didn't have to touch Aerith, even because you do fight him.
Right, Cloud touches him.
Yeah, and
That's what
Tifa.
I'm saying.
But that's what I'm trying to say too. The spread of the touch is not as important as how Aerith knows things.
Well, I'm saying that other people end up interacting with her and seeing things, though, when it doesn't necessarily have to be a direct touch with her. I was just talking about that little detail. I wasn't saying about her knowing things, that being the big thing. I'm saying her interaction with people is also key to what's going on. Some have theorized that this is actually part of the live stream Aerith, not necessarily a different timeline Aerith. Does
And
that make sense?
That's what I think it is. That was why I said
Live stream Aerith.
when
Yes.
Aerith died, she's still in the live stream. But when Sephiroth went back in time, he went to a different timeline. But does that necessarily mean that the other Aerith didn't follow him through the live stream? That's what I was thinking. I was like,
That's possible.
Yeah, because the whispers are part of that as well, are they not?
Right, exactly. And the whispers, if that's the case, if they're in a timeline that shouldn't know about what's going on, then why do the whispers, who are from the whatever their planet is, but from the planet, know about the future? So who's sending the whispers?
So
Right. Or is it the planet itself? And then more so, what about Aerith's comment about how every time the whispers touch her, she loses part of herself?
So yeah, that's definitely a big thing. If this is the Aerith from the future, which means she's coming back through the live stream, does that not also mean that Sephiroth can go back through the live stream just as well?
Well, he is part of the Ancients.
So, well, no, he's not. He's part of Genova.
Oh, well.
He has nothing to do with the Ancients.
I thought that he had at least the Blood Force or something weird, or Genova was part of it as well.
No, Genova's an alien who tried to kill the Ancients.
Oh, okay.
And Sephiroth is born and growth from Genova cells within the womb of a
He's
regular
just
woman.
delusional then. Alright, gotcha.
Yes, pretty
I'm
much.
just making sure. I had that fact checked. I didn't know that part, but I don't know. That was just a question. That wasn't me trying to assert anything.
But at the end of 7, he also pretty much dies and goes into the live stream. He pretty much goes into the live stream. So it's very much possible for him being a sort of like banal entity to go back in time through the live stream along with Aerith. So both of them know things. Because remember, at the end of 7 Remake, Sephiroth didn't intentionally, like, he didn't really I don't think he really wanted to just like kill Cloud or anything like that. He wanted Cloud to be like, join me, so we can change things. And Cloud was just like, the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, well, Sephiroth's definitely trying to change things for
Right.
better. He knows his death, and if the Opera Omnia storyline has anything to say about it, he knows what he's trying to do. The planet is trying to stop his, like, tomfoolery, and Aerith is part of that, even though it's not entirely clear she knows everything that's going on, but she does know more than she should.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to figure out what's gonna lapse in the next portion of the game, especially since we haven't touched on the real big spoiler, but we don't have to.
So I think what's happening at this point would be another theory. Aerith went back in time and pretty much possessed her old body, which
so?
means that the Aerith that we do know is still that Aerith back in time, but has like the Aerith from the future, mingled in. And every time she touches a whisper, is what they're called, part of her gets taken. So they're trying to take like all of Aerith back to where she's supposed to be, and they're trying to do that to Sephiroth, but Sephiroth is just too powerful. so he can't just be taken back, which is the reason why it looks like he's altering his original plan for the many different Sephiroth or Sephiroth copies that are out there. He has like a different plan. He's doing something different with them.
Yeah, and we really can't discredit the sheer like spoiler that is the fact that he brought the meteor from the future. Like, did no one want to talk about that? Like, I don't hear enough about the fact that this man basically like used the whispers to he absorbed the whispers,
right,
and then used them to like summon the meteor he uses at the end of the game. I'm like, okay, first of all, how would he even know? Second of all, like, what are you telling me right now? That no one was super concerned or had any commentary about that? I know that it wasn't particularly something they could comprehend. But like, even outside of the game, people were just like, where did Meteor even come from? Like, no one was just like, how did he even know? Or Sephiroth would, he wouldn't know how to do that.
Comment on it during that part, if I'm not mistaken. I think made a comment on that. The time limit that you had to deal with Sephiroth when he called that meteor. I think she made a comment on that when he brought it in.
What did she say?
Can't remember. I remember I was like, wait, Aerith, what? Like, I understand. Nobody should know what he's doing right now. Why are you making a comment on that?
He should probably know what the hell's going on.
Made a comment. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I might have to replay that part just to see, because the game just kind of sits you there. Although, also, did you beat it yet?
Yeah.
Did you play hard mode?
No, I didn't play hard mode.
Hard mode's hella fun, bro. You should play hard mode.
Hard mode's also very hard, so...
It is, but it makes you think through your material usage that much more.
Yeah.
And your MP usage, because it's not like you can just get it back at a bench.
There's
that don't reset till the next chapter.
There's one additional thing I would like to say.
Oh, and it's where your weapon builds really come in handy.
So, big spoiler, by the way. Through interference from Aerith, I think she set in motion for actors to appear, because she obviously knows what's going to happen in the future. But she also set up, if anybody really noticed, for many other people to survive. Not just Marlene. Well, Marlene's going to survive anyway.
In particular, that one really got me. The moment that she said, "No, you can't," I'm like, "Why can't I?" Wait a second. And then all the whispers showed up. I was just like, "Bro." She was like, "Wait, stop!" And then he almost killed him, and he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, the whispers will interfere. I mean, they had to bring Barrett back because he's not supposed to die.
Spoiler alert.
I did say spoiler, right? I did say spoilers.
What did you say?
Barrett and the whispers having to intervene because
they showed that in the last trailer, though.
No, they didn't. I don't think they ever showed them helping Barrett.
No, they didn't show him helping. They showed him getting stabbed.
Oh, okay. They showed him getting stabbed, but it's like,
huh? Why would you show that in the trailer?
In the trailer, really?
They showed it in one of them, yeah. And a lot of people were telling people to avoid that trailer in particular.
Right, and because it was kind of dumb of them to do that.
It was really dumb. That was probably the biggest shocker. That was the biggest plot twist that 7 Remake could have actually thrown at you, because all the fans would have been like, "What?" And then all of the new people would have been like, "What?" For different reasons. They're like, "Why?" And then we would have been like, "Why?"
I think what is also evident is that through Aerith, the original characters are stronger than what they were supposed to be when they left Midgar.
I mean, I don't know about that.
They are, because there are certain limit breaks that you're not supposed to have when you leave Midgar in the original.
Yeah, well,
that you have in a remake.
Barrett's big ass Kamehameha wave. I get it, but I don't know if that's plot related.
This is only a theory, but if they leave Midgar,
theory,
don't do that, because I want nothing happening. if the next part comes out and perhaps there's like a layover, because you're not. What's your final level when you first beat the game?
I don't remember.
50.
Was it 50?
No, not for me. It was not 50.
What, by the end of when? The first run?
The first run, yes.
It was like 38, maybe.
30s, 20s, right? It was between there.
I mean, because I went the extra mile to really grind out.
Yeah.
So like, I tried to find any enemy I could. I did everything I could.
So regularly, if you go through 7 Remake, you will end up like somewhere like 28 to 30 when you leave Midgar. And in the original, you're only at like the teens. Now that's not like really relevant. I was like, oh, the level difference is there. No. What I'm saying here is that they only made it so that you can get through the entire game, get into 28. So if they actually do a layover from 28 or from that level, or from like some sort of static, maybe like 25 or something, with some of the stuff that you had, then I think that perhaps they're making them stronger for a reason, or maybe that can be involved. And that's why I'm saying it's a theory.
No. That one doesn't have a lot of water in it, though. Not saying that it can't be a thing, but I think that's just for game purposes.
I just think that Aerith is preparing them for much more, because she obviously has a plan.
Time that they were fighting, though.
She obviously has a plan.
But you know what, though? Hold on, just to go out of the game real quick. I'm just gonna say this: they better not have a layover. This better not be a Golden Sun thing. So I have everything in the first part in the next part, because the data that's saved on my system. This better not be a Golden Sun thing where they give me a generic code based on the items and level and Degen I've reached that I can put in, and you just give me those generic things and not necessarily everything I had. Like,
I would love that. What are you talking about?
No.
Why not?
Because it's like so for Golden Sun, they had specific codes based on the items you had.
I know, I did it. It was wild.
But
it was on my phone through emulation. Can you even imagine that I managed to pull that off on an emulator?
Yeah, I know. But we are in a world where you could just transfer data. They did that for the Game Boy because you transferred that data.
Was a limitation.
We're in a world where you can transfer data and use the same. Do you know what's it? Mass Effect. Mass Effect, when the second game came out, literally used the data from the first game to continue the second game.
Nice. So, I need that in my life. I just want them to do it. That's all I'm saying is I want them to make it so that I have all the same shit from the first game. Okay.
So
that's what
it will be super lit. I don't care about levels. I just need my shit. Give it to me.
So Panic, would you rather them start over?
No, they better have the characters. The characters in your save data from the first part better be in the second part when it starts. That save data better go to the second part when it comes out.
I better have my mastered abilities.
Exactly. You better have everything. The characters better be identical to how they...
For real? And then they better have a playable Red... Well, of course they're going to have a playable Red 13, but still.
I think they're going to do that, though. You know, be Red playable, because Red came into like the tail end of the remake, so they were just like, I don't think it's worth him being playable.
Having a whole move set, but yeah.
So.
No, but you're right. Panic, yes, for sure. I want them to just give me I don't want to restart. Like, I don't want to have to get material all over again, because there won't be a really good explanation for it.
But what I honestly think that if they do a thing with Aerith is for those who actually got Aerith to her final limit break, one of the few would be me, and how you saw like, oh my god, she has like the best stuff, but then spoiler alert, she dies, and you're like, fuck, I put all this shit on her, like what the hell?
Spoiler alert, she might not die.
I was actually about to say, here's my theory on how that's going to work for her. To anybody who should have seen or played Final Fantasy VII by now, the regular one, not remake, she obviously, yes, she dies. But my theory on what's going to happen is that I don't think Sephiroth is going to kill her. I think she's going to off herself.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think for the sake of, or it might be based off of, what if it was on some like Quantic Dream shit where you could just be like, depending on your decisions, it comes down to you if it comes to the original thing that happens or not. How about that?
A choice.
So if you're playing more into the idea that the game changes, the game changes. But if you yourself alter things to where they are happening exactly the way they should be by your choices, because they already had a little bit of choice alteration in the remake.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, those decisions hurt. Those decisions are the best, though. Those are the ones that I live for. And then they can make everybody happy. Those who want a different ending get a different ending, or who see the intention of the game see the intention of the game. Those who want to keep it traditional, keep it traditional.
I mean, at this point, it's like in the original Cloud didn't really do much of anything with the people in Midgar. He just went through it just to go through it. But now people know him. People know who he is in Midgar. People understand, hey, there's that guy. I like that guy. And people know his name in Midgar, and they know that he's the guy to go to. I think this is why I'm saying I think Aerith is probably setting them up for something big, and maybe that's that choice scenario.
Well, if you think about it, that wasn't just Aerith, but Tifa as well, who did that per sector.
Tifa said like, "Hey, how about you help out and everything like that?" And it was just like, yeah. And then when they got separated, Aerith did the same thing, saying, "Hey, how about you help out everybody?"
I tell you, that's this game, bro. That was just a way to throw in the extra missions and get experience.
Yeah, because he had to get his.
Too.
Tifa had him work. Aerith had him get familiar with people.
So did Tifa. That's why I'm saying, like, what's the difference? And then in the end, it was like, we need help because the sector just fell. It wasn't really.
That's also. They have people survive that sector falling.
That was all Wedge's fault. That was because Wedge lived and he was not. Listen, we're not gonna get into that one.
That was all Wedge's fault.
That was all Wedge, and like the thing is, the fact that Don himself weighed in on that was actually more interesting because he escapes. You don't really know what happens to Don in the original, do we? A
few things also happen. One, we are introduced to a new character to the series that has something to do with the Don.
But he ain't that important. But let's talk about.
I think Roche. He will be. I think he
might be. But I want to say Roche is going to be more important. I think.
Oh my God, Roche.
That
boy came through. He might be another party member.
The Class 3 soldier.
I know.
Wait. Who's Roche?
Class 3 soldier you fight.
The motorcycle.
Oh, the motorcycle guy. Yeah. I mean, I think they're both significant. I think both him and the guy who
Just say Noctis.
No, I'm not gonna say Noctis. There's that. There's those two, and the fact that there's that secret laboratory under Midgar.
Well, they finally tied that in from what is it? Dirge of Cerberus. They mentioned it in the other games, but they didn't really.
Who played Dirge of Cerberus?
I played Dirge of Cerberus. Don't you give me that? I was all over.
Dirge of Cerberus did not get a lot of people.
Just a little mistake.
You know what? They added lore to the game, and that is being incorporated into what's going on right now.
Yeah.
So don't discount it. They're incorporating a little bit of Advent Children. They're incorporating a little bit of Dirge. They're incorporating a lot of bit of Crisis Core.
A lot. Oh my God. Oh my. Zach.
I know. The whole other timeline thing that's happening is like blowing everyone's mind wide open.
Yeah, this is
where he lives.
That is odd. Like
that's strange.
I'm about to say something incredibly unpopular, but
okay. What?
I like the fact that Zach is alive.
I do.
And I also I will be the one to say this, that if Aerith actually lives, I wouldn't mind it.
I wouldn't mind them having a happy ending, but then what about Cloud? He gets the real go. Tifa.
No, Zach would get Aerith. That's the thing.
Yeah, and then Cloud gets Tifa. Yeah, I can live with that. Can we see their babies?
Okay.
No, we never see their babies. That's not how they do it. It comes to games like this.
Final Fantasy VII.
You never get to see their children.
Let's go sing. But my boy is okay. Yo, listen. The thing is, you said unpopular. Like everybody doesn't want Zach to live. Come on.
Oh. No, well, people. I think that's a popular opinion that people want Zach to live, but the unpopular opinion is Aerith living.
Oh no, I think it can happen, but I think that Panic Spin is a lot more wild and a lot more accurate. It seems to me more so like she wouldn't even like she might pull a whole Tidus on everybody. I actually wasn't real.
All right. In Tidus's defense, he hit things. He was there.
I mean, he did things, but only at the moment that he realized that it was happening. His whole thing about Jack, he didn't want to tell because of a whole different reason. But let's not go there.
Okay, I mean, also the fact that spoiler alert, Tidus is what is known as
spoiler for Final Fantasy X.
He's a Fate's dream. He's a dream.
They don't even know what that means, so you're not even good enough to spoiling this.
That is a pretty much spoiler. People start playing the game and they're like, "What Fates and stuff and Aeons and stuff."
It takes a couple playthroughs to really understand what the heck happened there.
But he had no choice but to leave. He had no choice.
According
he had no choice, but the Faith had a choice. Yeah. But they were just complaining.
What was that?
Too, which is canon, he had some type of a choice because Tidus is alive. And
really, it's more like Yuna had a choice. They were just like, at the end of the game, what triggers that is like, hey, do you want to see him again? She was like, you can say yes or no. If she says yes, you get that ending.
Apparently, canonically, it's yes.
Chizzy says, I still barely understand it. It takes a real understanding of the game's lore, which is well built. It's not like they did a bad job, but it is a little ambiguous, to say the least.
All right. Were you about to say Panic?
Layers.
Yes, for sure. And then just not spoiler, but spoiler alert, but not really. There is going to be a 10-3. I know I didn't mention it on the podcast yet, but effectively the director's like, look, if these mofos can finish up with the Kingdom Hearts and the 7 remake stuff, then I'm going to grab my team and we're going to get right on that 10-3. He's like, they're like, really? Like, no, seriously. If they say, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm like, but, I mean, no, listen, I want to do this.
I
want this to be a thing.
I would like to end this off by saying, though, that the director for 10 said that he wants to start plans for a 10-3, and he said to go back and listen to a certain story that only had Audible in it, though it's not going to come off from that. He did say that he says that he believes that Tidus is alive, and that 10-3 would run off of the fact that Yuna said yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and then but the thing is that I'm not sure if you remember this, Sync and Opera Omnia, Square Enix, I won't say canonized it there, but was like, okay, confirmed. Yuna said yes at the end of 2.
Yeah.
So like they in Opera Omnia when they interact, they're like one of their cutscenes was like points back to that scene, and they've been kind of just like chilling since then. So like she said yes, and so Tidus is back, and obviously Anima just mentioned 10-3, and I had to go back and listen to that scene from the end of 10-2, which apparently is a secret scene. You have to do something specific for it.
Yep.
And I forgot Anima had showed it to me when we had the remastered version, and listening to that again, I was like, wow, they have a whole story fleshed out already.
Yep. There was indeed a story fleshed out for 10-3. It just didn't work out. Certain complications.
Yeah, at the time. And then Japan was like, but Final Fantasy X is our favorite Final Fantasy. They're like, really? He's like, yeah. Like, oh. And what about the West?
7, of
course. Next to 7, 10 is pretty much right on its heels. No, and honestly, 7 isn't the most popular one in Japan. The popularity contest went to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't even a thing that I knew about until they were just like, nah, listen, we all about that 10 over here. I'm like, okay, cool.
I'd like to say that I would love to see 10-3. I would also be interested to see Aerith actually living. I would like to know.
I'd love to be seeing a choice system implemented to make sure that people who are diehard fans can get their because everybody these jokes they can't wait to see her get stabbed in 3D. I'm just like, listen.
Yo, people are horrible.
I mean, everybody was just like, I wonder why there's so much character development going into these characters that we know are about to pass. But then, sure enough, who lives at the end of Remake?
Yeah, it might be someone else who actually dies, but you never know.
It's also a possibility too, but
it makes you wonder a little bit more if Jesse might not come out of nowhere again, because if what's his name lived, they both died right in front of you. You know?
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Funny, you can help them right then and there.
And we don't know what the heck happened to Wedge. Everybody's like, is Wedge dead? I'm like, man, it looks like those ghosts took really good care of that man. Like they said, did they shove him out the window? I'm like, that's what's implied. But so, Lord,
I mean, it's implied that Wedge might have not made it, and also spoilers if you haven't gotten to the end of Remake. There were two particulars who are still alive. Just saying. I'm not gonna say their names.
Wedge! No, Biggs lived, dude. What is happening? Yo, Biggs, I just want to talk.
Biggs and Jesse, maybe, now that we're just gonna say it.
Potentially Jesse.
No,
we don't know about
you. See Jesse.
Where do you see Jesse?
She's in the other bed.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you can see her.
I didn't see. No, I don't know.
I don't remember seeing her. I
didn't see her.
You see her hair, and you see like I think you see like her gauntlet on the table or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that was Jesse, but I think a lot of people deconfirmed that as well. But we'll know soon enough if they live or not.
Cause it's not Wedge. I can say that. Wedge a little too fat to be in that bed over there. But I think that should just cover about everything, though. The whole Aerith debacle, the whole what we want to see. This has been a long discussion.
Yeah, longer than if it was just the four of us. We just kind of jumped headfirst into that one. I knew we would, though. Mm-hmm. So that's a big one right now, and we're just waiting for little bits of information. They're definitely in development, even though it's taking longer because of everything going on. But like, they're working on it, so I can't wait to see what happens.
That'd be very, very, very interesting to see. Now I think about it. Holy crap! I have to remap the entire lore of the Final Fantasy universe. Damn it, Dissidia! Why do you exist?
Dissidia really is like stirring up a lot.
Dissidia's.
Speaking of which, do you guys want to play that in the after party?
I was actually about to say, yeah, I want to get like 4 matches in.
Dissidia, what?
12.
So he's talking about 12.
NT, but I hate NT. 12.
I'm still trying to find a mod to change.
We could play NT just because we do have 3, even though it's terrible, for you guys apparently. But we could also play something else entirely.
I will indulge you.
I've checked. The servers are down, dude.
They're just down? What do you mean down?
They took all. Okay, I don't know if you heard this, but the Dissidia servers, Dissidia NT, it's dead. The servers are dead.
They killed the servers?
They turned it off.
When?
Why?
When? I made a video on this actually. I'm not sure when, but I do know that I made a video called Dissidia NT is dead because they turned everything off and you basically can't play it traditionally anymore online.
Whack. How do you play it at all multiplayer then?
You have to join I think a private session with other people. And the only way to do that is to get in contact with somebody. And there is a Discord server for that.
Oh, so you can do private matches, but not like online ranked.
Right.
Hold on. I'm about to go check on that right now.
But with that being said, it's the end of the podcast episode. Hope to see everyone back here in our glamorous looking apartment that I'm sure Animal's gonna remake in his Animal Crossing game. Right?
Well, it was, but then I just turned that off. So I go check on these servers. I also was just, moving around the island because our podcast went on way longer.
Right.
Way longer.
But thanks for everybody joining in. We will see you next week. See you guys then.
Indeed.
Bye.
You're right. I'm having trouble, Sonny. Hold on. I'll be right back.